So Rob Parker believes that Dan Campbell is a very bad coach and is worse than Brandon Staley, and I think he's out of his mind. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, along with Teddy Bruschi's comments as well, saying that he wouldn't want him on his sideline, and which I think is like, okay, fine. A lot of people been calling out Dan Campbell for a lot of stuff, man, since he got here as the head coach. You already know what it is. But we finna get into it, man. But first, man, before we do that, make sure y'all hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe if y'all feel like y'all would like this video, man. If you like it, hit like and subscribe to the channel. And I got more to come right after this. You know something? Today I woke up with the privilege to know that my team, the Detroit Lions, was 12-1. And I started thinking about recently what happened over the last 5 years, right? You know, last time we had a different coach. We had a guy who caused our ownership to put her face inside her hands like this during Thanksgiving Day, and you know, and that was the day that sparked the change. And you brung in a guy who, by all means, I'll be the first one to say this. When it comes to Dan Campbell, as a real Lions fan, I can say he was nobody's first choice. I don't care how affected by the speech, that he had his introductory press conference. I don't care how much you loved it or not. He was not everybody's first choice as a head coach. And I'll be the first one to admit he wasn't mad either. But even throughout that season alone, that first season him being here, he started to grow on me because of his mannerisms. Everybody looked at the fourth down thing as an immature coaching style because he didn't come off as the analytics type coach or a coach that has a book in his hand all day with stats and plays. He didn't come off very the key word is X's and O's. That was the one thing everybody criticized about him because he came to press conferences with helmets on, though he was doing promotion. He was himself, and he talked about being himself and wanting the same for his players, which is why I always get at y'all about Jameson Williams, because at the end of the day, Jameson Williams is himself, and he does put the team first. And if he was a problem, your head coach will have an issue with him. But anyway, this ain't about that. The thing is, he has made it known that he expects a team, no matter what your name is on this roster, who you are, what your back as your career was coming into this team, what you were known to be, how good you were. He expects you to be somebody that can help him win games. And if he puts you out there on that field, that was what it was about. And at the end of the day, this man has grown right before our eyes. The thing too with the whole fourth down play, the only issue, and I can say shout out to Jackson Kruger Sports, he does a lot of film sessions. The only thing I had an issue in that game against Green Bay when it came down to that play was that, it was 4 seconds on our clock to snap the ball. It was 2nd and 9, and it was about 2 minutes and 6 seconds to go. I do think that they should have waited at least 2 more seconds before they snapped the ball. That way, it could have got the 2-minute warning or whatever the case may be, and things probably could have ended up a little bit different. I will say that. It happens, though. It's the life of the NFL. It happens, and this is why I also try to tell Daryl in the past, too, that, the San Francisco game, the NFC Championship game, that the field goal, us not going for a field goal, you don't play for the field goal, man. You play to win. You play to put points on the board. And if you have to go for it on fourth down, then that's what you do. Every championship caliber team is built differently. Why would you want the Lions to be the same as somebody else? And you know what I'm saying? I want them to be who they're supposed to be for themselves. And if it has to go through us having aggressive play calling, then so be it. Because that's the only time the Lions have ever been aggressive in their actual franchises, when this man Dan Campbell was in the building. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the thing about it. That's what this franchise was missing. It was missing a coach that can go out there and make the unnormal norm. And I think, shout out to Richard Sherman, man, who called these men out, because specifically Ted Bruschi, because Teddy Bruschi, he was a guy who played for the Patriots. You were used to somebody basically holding your hand and directing you the right way, and what you felt was the right way. And because it doesn't look like that, it's an issue. And it's like, why can't we just give our team respect? Why do we have to have somebody in our own city, and our media has been trash for a very long time, man. We dealt with the whole thing with 97.1 the ticket for years. I remember as my first years coming in as a YouTube content creator, this was a big issue because of things that they would put out there. You know what I'm saying? And just never, I just never really got along with that side of the fence. I never listened to the media to like drive what I believe I should be looking for. And it was the same thing with Dan Campbell. Oh, he can't coach. He should be working at McDonald's. And it was the most pettiest thing ever in the world. And now look at us where we are. We come. If it wasn't for Dan Campbell, let's just be real. If it wasn't for Dan Campbell, we wouldn't have our first playoff win since I've been alive. They first time they won a divisional title, it was like I was a year old or so already in this world. And then I think they haven't won a playoff game around the same time in the last. So the seat, and I'm 32. So the seat, the thing is, that's what it comes down to, man. This man gave us our first playoff trip and won us 2 playoff games, okay? Within 3 seasons. And you mean tell me you call him a bad coach? It's beyond me. That's beyond me, man. I don't understand. And then the thing with the whole 4th down calls, it was never about trying to be the smart guy in the room. It was never about trying to prove how tough we were. It was all about possessions for the Lions, man. They wanted to keep the ball in their hands as much as possible. That's what it was always about. Giving yourself that extra chance, making the norm, because you don't play for the field goal. You score touchdowns in this league. And that's what the Lions are doing. People were complaining about, oh, the Lions are kicking people's butts too hard, and this and that and third, they playing too hard. Well, damn it, where do you think that comes from? That's your head coach driving that into him. We throwing back shoulder phase to offensive linemen. Where do you think that's coming from? Your head coach. This team is playing and constructed off the way your head coach is. The fact that we're injured this way and we're still competing and we're still getting our team ready, you have to be able to run the locker room first before you can run it out there on the field. If you can't run the locker room first and get the things behind the scenes done as a head coach, I don't care how analytical you are. I don't care how much S's and O's you have. You won't be able to get it right on the field. And we know this because of Matt Patricia. Remember that? He couldn't run his locker room. His locker room was breaking down because of the way he acted and the way he carried himself as a head coach. A coach that a lot of people endorsed, by the way, because he was up to date with the modern day NFL life and the X's and O's and all this crap. And he came from the Patriots. Remember that? His failure caused us to be where we at right now, because we have a actual good head coach who wasn't trying to be the smartest guy in the room, who listens to his players, who his players believe in, he believes in them. You know what I'm saying? That's what we've been seeing for the last few years. That's why this team play for each other. You do not have any receiver, I don't think, at 1,000 yards currently. You got a running back that you drafted in 12th overall with 1,000 yards rushing. You have all your receivers are sharing the ball. Everybody get theirs. Not one person is complaining about their stats. You don't see people mad on the sideline because they don't get a target. You don't see people upset because they went 2 games without getting a catch or something like that. You got games where, St. Brown could be the backup dancer and Tim Patrick can be the starter day. Other days where it's Jameson Williams and other days where it's St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta went through a drought, bro. But because he knows what type of team he plays for, because the head coach, he knows that he's going to have his moment. He knows he's a part of the team. You know what I'm saying? Same for guys like Brock Wright. All the trickery on special teams, it's all that, man. When you look at all the trick plays we ran on special teams before they changed the rule with the offside kick, when we would just go for it because we were in trouble, all that was about game possessions. It was never about trying to make something look good in front of the media or about being a fighting team. It was about smart football, doing what you have to do to gain the possession. That's what it all come down to, man. And that's what really pisses me off about Rod Parker saying stuff. We wouldn't have been in that NFC Championship with any other coach. When we go back to the Chiefs game last year, who was the man that called the play for us to go for it on 4th down? Because we didn't score until we got that drive going. When we was in our own territory, we had to go for it on 4th down. Well, we didn't go for it on 4th down. We did a trick play on 4th down. My bad, fake punt, and then we ended up scoring on that drive. That gave us the momentum. When you make plays like that happen, and you got one of the best offensive lines in football, you have the potential to take the momentum, and that's what's all about for the Lions. They are momentum takers. That's what we do, and that is because of your head coach. That's the mentality that he's brought on his team. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. You know, so like I tell you all the time, man, drafting good players does not automatically just change your franchise. You have to have a coach that knows what to do with them. You have to have a system or a culture that you feel like these guys are part, and these guys are real specific about the dudes that they want in here. You hear it all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's, again, your head coach. You can talk about Brad Holmes all you want, but if Brad Holmes' coach isn't doing his job, you know what I'm saying? You go be what? Brandon Staley. Oh, which, by the way, Rob Parker said that he was worse than Brandon Staley. Let's go back. They were hired the same season. They were hired in 2021. Okay? You had a freakishly talented quarterback in Justin Herbert. We had Jared Goff, who was on a trending downward. Where, how the hell do one end up trending upward, and Brandon Staley's team had his quarterback trending downward after having an impressive rookie season with a different head coach? Explain that to me, since he's worse than Brandon Staley, right? How is that? Because why? Because so basically you're saying that the team is only good because of Brad Holmes. Then that's what it sounds like Rob Parker is saying. Because, like, in other words, Dan Campbell had nothing to do with it. Because again, you know, when you go through injuries and you're 12-1, it's all because of Brad Holmes, right? So we're gonna blame Dan Campbell's success that he built his own right by the way he treated his players and his coaches and making the right people, bringing the right people in here to help us win, versus Brandon Staley, who was again another guy who thought he was too smart for the world, right? Young, talented quarterback. Because let me ask you something right now. Why is Jim Harbaugh, despite losing a bad game Sunday, why has Jim Harbaugh already got them playing some of the best football they played in a long time there? And he just got back to the NFL. Why is that the case then? If Brandon Staley, you feel like is a better coach, and basically your words, he's a better coach than Dan Campbell, Rob Parker, then why is Jim Harbaugh taking his team to the next level? And they gave away Keenan Allen, they gave away some of the players that have been there for a long time. He's restructuring this team year one, and they not leading in the division, but they got a chance to make the playoffs. Brandon Staley didn't have them cooking like this. So since you swear up and down Dan Campbell is so much worse, you can give me gold and I will make it look like shit if I don't know what I'm doing. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And that's just what it comes down to. You can give somebody gold and they can make it look like crap. Excuse my French earlier. That's why you don't listen to guys like Rob Parker and these media analysts, because they talk crap. It made no sense. This man says stuff to rile people up in Detroit to get you upset. Jared Goff goes out there right now in the Super Bowl and wins it and really puts the team on his back. He will find a way to discredit it. If we go out there and, next year and win a Super Bowl again, he will find a way to bring it down. That's what he does. He says stuff he knows that's going to get people upset. And I had to acknowledge it because he had no reason to come out and say this. Like, why do we have to play this pretty boy football? We are not about that. This team represents the city. Why do you think we're winning with all these injuries? That's what we do in Detroit. We get so many things that happen against us to the point we still find a way to overcome. Because we used to it. This team is built off the structure of their losses, from what they learned from them. And they took that and they elevated this team. That's why they play for each other. And that's all because of who your head coach. The general manager can say whatever he wants, but if his coach ain't able to deliver on it, it means nothing. You can take Amon-Ra St. Brown, you can take Penei Sewell, you can take these Lean McNeils and all these guys, but if you can't elevate anything, if you can't get them if you have no direction, they'll just be decent players in this league that need better guidance. And that's what we had. We had Frank Rad now with the other regime. We had Taylor Decker. And we could never do nothing with them because of the leadership and direction that we were being taken in. It's simple. Why do we make stuff so hard when it comes to the game of football or any sport? It's really not. If you really just use some common sense, you would know that that was just an egregious take, Rob. You just gotta find something. That's the thing about it. I mean, come on, man. Shout out to Richard Sherman, man, for putting guys like him. He ain't dressed Rob Parker personally, but he was more on Teddy Bruschi. But still, shout out to Richard Sherman for basically just describing it, man. Go watch this, what he said, man. That man broke it down. Like, why they're 12-1. It's not like they're 12-1 and they're just getting by. They put teams away. They had teams complaining that we were playing too hard, for God's sakes. What type of bad coach team is that? How's that a bad coach team? You won a game with 5 interceptions. They go in the locker room after throwing at least 3 of them. They come out and get turnovers. Yeah, we threw some back still, but still we won the game because their head coach leadership in that locker room and on that field has gotten so good to the point where they know what to do. They expect to win. They play with the expectation. They have for a while now. Oh, he's worse than Brandon Staley. How could you say something like that? Maybe we should have been like the Bears this year and got picked on, letting the league take a crap on us, or maybe like the Jaguars, they coach going there. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I think Dan Campbell is just too macho for these guys, and these guys don't know how to take it. When you don't know how to deal with a level of alpha male ability, as I like to say, you kind of act real feminine, and that's the way Teddy Bruschi came off. And I think Rob Parker is just being a common old man. Hey, I'm still stick with the old narratives because that's what built my career, and I'm gonna continue to do this. No, we'll win 2 Super Bowls and he'll still be fine. Something to talk about. That's just what it is at this point. Y'all leave in the comment section, man. I got nothing else at this point in time to say about it. It is what it is. We just dealt with the clown and freaking Nick wrong in his regards to our quarterback, and now we got to deal with this. Be looking for the Bills preview video, man. Lions versus Bills. Shout out to everybody, man. Make sure y'all clown these guys, but at the same time, no, don't give them no more energy. I gave it enough. This video is longer than I wanted it to be. Most definitely. So like, comment, subscribe, man. Share this video, man. Hit the notification button if you can, man. Toss this into the algorithm, man. I'm trying to get this going. And with that being said, man, I'll see y'all on my next project. And with that, your boy, Nomas Jet D313SP, signing out.